Today I'm in a spinny chair, which means I'm going to be doing a lot of this and a lot of this. I've been expecting you. I heard someone on TikTok say, why put petrol in the car to go in the wrong direction? And I was like, girl, yes, preach, say it louder for the people in the back. We have been marketed by society to follow a template. The linear progression of life. I just made that up and it just sounds so fancy. It sounds like I know what I'm talking about. Spoiler alert, I don't. It actually sounds like the title of a thesis or something. Thesis? Wait. Yes, that is the right one. I'm thinking thesis, but that's poo. We're not talking about poo, title of a poo. The linear progression of life! What I mean by the linear progression of life is we go from nursery to school to college or university to get a degree that we don't use, and then into working a job, and then you're like stuck in that job for what, like 40 years, 50 years? I don't know. How do jobs work? What age is retirement?
Here's what I found.
65 or 66? That is a long time. I cannot do the maths, but I will say maybe like 40 years. 40 plus years, there we go, we're gonna go with that. Then you're in a job, you're in the working job life for 40 plus years. And then when we get to like 66, what did I just say, 66, 67, 65? So 60 plus, only then can we retire. And it's only in that point of life, when we retire, do we have the freedom to do what we want. I'm sorry, what? At 67, you and me are likely to encounter some old age issues. Arthritis, knee problems, joint problems, back problems. I already have back problems, I'm 29. Like what else? What else do old age things happen to? Like eye loss or something? Eye loss? Sight loss. Lice? Lice? Loss of sight. Blindness. Just a lot of old age issues. Wow, I really can't talk today. And I'm like, what is the logical sense in devoting your entire life to a job you most likely hate, that you'll moan about every day, just for the money, the dollar, the Great British pound? That is like the main motivator for people to go to work, is the money. And that is fine if that is you, no shade on that at all, because we do need money to live. Like society is giving us these steps. We gotta work a bunch of different jobs that we hate, spend a decent chunk of time working in them, getting stressed out, causing more health issues, long-term stress, and that ain't good for anyone. Like who wakes up in the morning and thinks, yeah, you know what I need in my life? More stress. I'm mad. Like, who thought of these steps? I've got a bone to pick with these people. And hey, this is just my opinion. Disclaimer, disclosure, whichever one it is. I'm just some random person on the internet. But it's basically an old way of thinking. You're delaying living your life for the sake of your corporate job. You're sacrificing your physical prime, you know, when you have like more energy levels and less health-related issues, unless you have a chronic condition, I see ya. But the majority are sacrificing their lives for the end goal of retirement. And I think that's wrong. I think that's backwards. Who came up with this? I am mad. Logically, doesn't make sense. I would much live a lifestyle where, yes, I'm doing the work, but it's more flexible. It's on my time scale. I want to be able to work from anywhere at any time and make a decent income. Is that so hard to ask? How are people doing it so easily? I don't know. Like, is there something wrong with me? Because I'm starting to think there is. Is my brain a bit of an issue because it's all over the place? Yes, potentially. Could be. Could be that. And I flick from one thing to another to another. Could also be that as well. That's why it takes 10 times longer. Well, there you go. We just had a therapy session. Wait, let me get this right. I don't want to live to work. I want to work to live. Is that the right way around? Someone will have to tell me in the comments. Even that confuses my brain. That's just too much. I don't even know what I'm talking about, so good luck to you guys. And I do think there's been a big shift in society lately, especially with like the great resignation that happened a couple of years ago, where a lot of people were quitting their jobs and job vacancies were an all-time high because the people had had enough. They don't want to do this shit anymore. I was one of them. I was part of that crew. Look at me now. Poor. And yes, I do recognize that a lot of people do prefer the stability of a 9-to-5 job, a guaranteed paycheck and a structured day, you know? And that's great. Like, we need those people in the world, I think, to like make it all continue going around. The world's gonna go around anyway, but you know what I mean. Like, we need those people in the world. I went too far into that. It's like, the world still spins regardless of if anyone works or not. It's weird, isn't it, that we have to pay to live on this planet? And that's my thoughts on my existential crisis. But for me, the 9-to-5 lifestyle just doesn't fit in with my core values. I feel like the work world is psychosis, and we are all put onto this conveyor belt as soon as possible. We're going round and round and round, and everyone is just staring silently ahead on this conveyor belt. That's what I imagine the corporate world to be like. When I first stepped onto the conveyor belt, I tried to do that. I tried to stand still and like stare blankly ahead and just get on with it like everyone else was doing, and to try and fit in with everyone else, but I just couldn't do it. It was so uncomfortable, and I felt like there was this panic rising up in my chest, like almost like every single atom in my body was just fired up to get out of there as soon as possible, because this is not right. This does not fit in with me. And when I was on this conveyor belt, I kept looking around being like, why am I here? And as soon as I stepped off the belt, I realized that I am not meant to be on a conveyor belt going round and round and round. I'm meant to take the risk to step off of that conveyor belt and go my own way, rather than just following everyone else on this conveyor belt. Does that make sense? I'm thinking of those like conveyor belts when you go like to the airport and you're waiting for the luggage and it's just going round and round and round. Everyone's just a piece of luggage, is what I'm trying to say. I feel like I'm the duffel bag. Doesn't fit in with the suitcases. Well, that got deep real quick. And I think this directly relates to a video I saw when I was younger by Alan Watts. When I heard what he was saying about like the work life, it made so much sense to me. So basically what he said goes something like this. He said, forget the money. Because if you say that getting the money is the most important thing, you will spend your life completely wasting your time. You'll be doing things you don't like doing in order to go on living, which is to keep doing things that you don't like doing. So it's all retch and no vomit. It never gets there, which is so true, because you're going to work and then you're earning from that to be able to live, but then you have to go to work. I mean, he says it much better than I could, but this is just me paraphrasing from what I remember. But he said to basically find something that you really love, that you really enjoy, and pursue that, and the money will come if you continue to work on it, and if you become a master at it, then the money will come. That video like spoke directly to my soul. It was the first time I had ever felt connected to an outlook on the work life. Like, it never made sense for me growing up, like, to work a job that you hate or that you don't like going to or you dread going to. Like, it's never made sense for me to do that. And I always felt like the odd one out, because it always felt like everyone was just getting on with it. Like, it was just a normal thing. And I'm like over here being like, this template, this style just doesn't work for me. And so when I heard that Alan Watts video, I was like, oh wow, yeah, but there is an alternative here. It doesn't have to be this template that has been marketed to us to follow until we die. There is an alternative here. If I can find it, I will link it below. Go and watch it, because I feel like that probably changed my life. I said a couple of months ago in the video where I talk about quitting my 9-to-5 job, that it's like trying to fit a size 2 shoe on my size 6 feet. Like, it just does not fit. It just does not work. I can't be walking like that for the rest of my life. My toes gonna be mad, bare mad. And if you don't have toes in your life, then you don't have balance. Did I just actually make something that worked? Did I just say something that's actually worth saying? It's actually a really good metaphor. Am I a genius? Subscribe. And I think other people are starting to realise now they don't want to be working 40+ hours for a company that they don't really care about. And this was the other thing, actually. In literally all of my 9-to-5 jobs, except my dog walking job, because that was a beaut, I literally did not care. I did not care one tiny bit about the company. I probably should have done. I lied in every interview I had. I care about this company so much. I will be here in 5 years. Excuse me? Excuse me? Are you listening to yourself right now? And I decided I can't sacrifice my mental well-being for a job I don't even like. Like, I respect myself too much to do that. I do have some self-respect sometimes. People around me are like, well, Kate, that's just how life is. That's just the way the world works. And I'm like, no! God damn it, no! This makes me mad. No. That's the way that capitalism has brought us all up on. I feel like I'm just preaching to myself right now. This is just a video to myself. And yes, it may take you 10 times as long to make it work. Like, I could get a job tomorrow and be on the payroll immediately. Guaranteed money. But starting your own business takes a heck of a lot of time and work and energy. I imagine it's like one of those boat things. I don't know what kind of boat it is, but you know the ones where you like have to pull the string to make the engine work, and like the first time you pull it, it never works. It never does. And then you pull it a second time and it's like, well, maybe, and then you pull it a third time. Eventually, it starts working. Is that a really bad metaphor? Am I not a genius anymore? You get the picture, you get the idea. Like, starting your business isn't just like a, oh, pull the string, there we go, off we go, £10,000 a week, please, yes. No, not quite like that. Most simplest terms, life is short. We are all going to die. The world is burning, there are viruses everywhere, we are just a floating rock in the middle of space. Like, when we frame it like that, just do whatever makes you happy. We're all gonna die. I feel like I just increased my existential crisis 10 times more. Well done. I'm doing well today. I'd say I'm a creative at heart. Like, I'm passionate about certain things like YouTube and making videos and stuff, except when I lose all self-worth and self-respect and feel inadequate at everything that I try. And then I'm basically just an empty shell. Apart from those times, I have passion for things. Okay, nice way to bring the tone down, keeping it real. Well done, Kate. Doing well, doing well. Keep going, keep going. And quite a few people have said to me now, hey, you should do videos for a living. And I'm like, I'm trying. Oh, I'm trying. I'm human. Sometimes I get lost quite a lot. Sometimes I get stuck. Sometimes I've got nothing left to give and I'm on empty. But I'm still out here trying. I'm still trying, okay? I'm still trying to go with the flow. Where's the flow? There's no flow. Where's the flow? Like, there's no current here. It's just like stagnant. That's a really good way to describe it. Stagnant. Why do I do the hair flick with that word? Stagnant. And hey, look, I'm not saying that this other path is gonna be easy, because it's not. This is in fact probably harder. It is probably harder in some respects because you do have to have that determination to keep going when everything just falls flat on its face and you've got no hope. And you're so stuck and you feel so worthless. So in some ways, I'd say it's a little bit more of a difficult path, and it is a really self-reflective time. It's kind of, yeah, I don't know where I'm going with this, but it is just harder. There you go, that's the end of that. I feel like there was this common theme when I was working at my 9-to-5 jobs that was just like so potent. It was all I kept thinking about. And that was the feeling of wasting time. I hate wasting time. Like, I can be really good at it sometimes. But it doesn't mean that I like it. To me, time is the most valuable thing. It's the thing of like, yeah, you can make more money, but you can't make more time. Like, time is invaluable. Did I just say something that was actually quite wise? Indeed I did. I felt like in those 9-to-5 jobs, there was this urgency to go, to get out of there. Because why am I wasting my time? Why am I wasting my energy for a company that I don't care about? And I don't know if like living with chronic illness plays into this, especially like growing up, my life expectancy used to be 32. And so I constantly felt like I was on a timer. I feel like being in situations, in jobs like that, just emphasized that urgency to get out. Probably a very subconscious thing in my brain was like, you don't have the time to do this. You don't have the time, the energy to be doing a job that you don't like doing. You don't have that time. You should be creating a life that you love. You should be living a life that you love. And I do feel like that does kind of directly correlate with me growing up with this life expectancy over my head. It does make a lot of sense now I say it out loud. I do kind of feel like companies exploit you a little bit because like they entice you with all of these benefits. Like, if you stay with us for X amount of years, you'll get this reward, or you'll get great maternity leave, or you'll get that pay rise we've been promising you for the last 5 years. What else do people get in jobs? Like free vet care, 10% off certain retailers. I feel like they kind of entice you. If you come and work for us, you will get all of these benefits, but you'll also be miserable. So take your pick. I do think it comes down to a toss-up between money and time. And ideally you do need both to be able to, you know, survive. It's not like you can just be like, oh yeah, I'll pick time and then end up homeless for the rest of your life. Like, that's not gonna work. Like, you do need both. I think having a balance of both is healthy, but I think in situations like this, you need to pick which one of it do you value more? Do you value money more, or do you value time more? I know which one I value, but which one do you value more? Questions, answers, interesting. Even if it's just like a little bit more. Like, I value my time a little bit more than money. When it really comes down to it, when you really kind of funnel it down, which one do you value more? Money or time? There's no wrong answer here. There's no like, oh, if you pick money, then you're the worst. Obviously not. Like, we are all different and it's okay to choose whichever one makes more sense for you to choose. And here's the thing. thing. We are constantly bombarded when we are younger with questions like, what do you want to be when you grow up? What job do you want to get? What's the next step? And it's almost just like forcing people into this like narrow mind of being like, okay, what job do I want to do? And I feel like that puts so much pressure on a lot of young people to make this decision and to know what they want to do when they grow up and to do this, that and the other. When it could be a question of what fulfills you in life. Has anyone thought about saying that to the young people? Maybe we should start trying. I don't know, I feel like that's probably more of like an open question rather than what job do you want to do? Do you want to work in the public sector? Do you want to be a teacher? Do you want to be an engineer? A doctor? It's like all of these like job titles, isn't it? Rather than being like, okay, but what fulfills you? What do you actually enjoy doing? What is your passion in life? And hey, it's absolutely a-okay if you do not know that when you were young. Like, that is absolutely fine, because you're not gonna know until you start doing stuff, and you might not find something that you really enjoy doing until later on in life when you're like, oh, actually, I really do enjoy coding for websites. I really do enjoy that, but that was like never an option when you're in primary school. What do you want to be, a coder? I mean, it probably is now, I don't know, times have changed since I've been to school. And I do feel like that, it should be like that. The school system, that makes me mad, because it's so old and old. I'm sure I read somewhere it was like, it's a system that was created in the industrial times. So you have to do this, this and this at school. And it's like, why is this still a thing? If you know that you don't like a subject, sorry, this is just going off on a random topic now, but if you know that you don't like a specific subject and you hate it and you can't stand it, then you should not be forced to do that subject. You should be able to go, okay, I'm gonna drop that subject and I'm gonna put instead the time that I would have spent in that subject into a subject that I actually do really enjoy, or spend that time learning about a new hobby or new coding or whatever. The school system makes me so mad. So mad, especially with like Rishi Sunak being like, everyone needs to do maths till A-level. I'm sorry, what? What kind of idiot comes up with this sort of thing? Oh right, yeah, that's right, a Tory. That makes no sense. You're trying to push us back into the past. We need to be moving into the future. And learning maths in A-level, like, no. Especially for like someone like me, whose brain could not handle, you know, primary school maths. I dropped maths as soon as I could. And I can honestly say, I have never used an algebra in adult life. I've never used a quadratic equation. And I have never seen Ben at the store with 50 bananas. I just mean like, you know, in those maths questions, it's like, Ben has 50 bananas. If you take 12 away, how many does he have? I don't know why. Like, that is very basic maths. Like, even I'm still in primary school maths. Anyway, the question really should be of like, okay, well, what fulfills you in life? And you go from there. And like I say, it doesn't matter if you don't know what fulfills you yet, because like, I did not know that YouTube would fulfill me. I don't even know what still fulfills me, to be honest. I'm just making it up as I go along, and that's what it's all about. There is so much pressure put onto teenagers and college students and university people to get good grades. It's all about the grades. And unless you want to get into med school or law school or some kind of job that has an actual responsibility, you know, for other human life, then grades do not matter. Don't stress out about it. I'm sure there's some like rich billionaire out there who failed at their GCSEs and has gone on to do successful things. Like, grades doesn't equal success. And this is what we were all freaking like mind warped when we were younger. Oh my god, I just spat everywhere, all over my knee. You know, say it, don't spray it, Jesus. I don't even know where I was going with that, but you get the idea. Grades don't matter. Anyway, that was a rant that no one asked for. And here's the thing, if you are thinking about like stepping out of that corporate world, capitalistic template, like there are so many ways to make a living online nowadays. It's a little bit scary. Like, I thought there was just like this basic thing, but there's a whole world. There is a whole other world online where you can make money, and that sounds pretty dodgy when I say it out loud, and I don't mean like that kind of thing, although you could do that kind of thing. Like the digital world, like with people, if you are creative, if you actually have art skills and can draw, then you can do like so much. You can make so much money online. And I love that the kind of like the online world holds space for creative people. I appreciate that. I really do appreciate that. You just gotta find what kind of makes sense to you and try it. And if it doesn't work, fine, move on to the next thing. And if that doesn't work, fine, at least you know you've tried, and at least you know that you can't do this and can't do that, but actually you're gonna try this other thing. Well, that's what I do anyway. I'm on my like 4th business, so you know, maybe just don't listen to me. All I will say is there are tons of videos on YouTube about making passive income online. Word of advice, just because you hear someone in any YouTube video saying that they made £10,000 a month on Etsy, which yes, that actually is a real thing, kind of seems a little bit extreme, a little bit far-fetched, and you're like, really? Actually, people are making that now. Insane, I know. But just because you hear that on a video does not mean that it will happen like that for you. This kind of makes me so mad to think about, but when I was starting out on Etsy, I would watch these videos, and these were people who had started their Etsy shop during COVID. The time when everyone was home, when everyone was online shopping. There is a reason why that they excelled in their income, is because everyone was online. It was just the circumstances of the world at that time. So just because you hear some Sally over there saying that she made this amount online and that you can too, it doesn't necessarily, don't take it for face value is what I'm basically trying to say. Like, I am living proof of that, okay? My little tiny Etsy shop. We are told throughout our life to follow a specific pattern, but nothing in life is linear, except recipe books and instruction manuals. But you know what I mean, like life itself is not linear. It's not a straight line. It goes like that, except for aging. Okay, like I'm digging myself a hole there. Life experiences aren't linear. Healing isn't linear. Emotions aren't linear. And in order to make progress in life, you have to let something go. And what happens when you let go? If you follow me on Insta, you'll probably know. There is freedom. Freedom, there's freedom. And so if it's right for you, then let go of the linear structure that we have been given, because you deserve to live a life that fulfills you. And if you want to hear about the time that I quit my 9-to-5 job and that whole drama, then check out this video right here. And of course, I'll see you in the next one.